Hey, affiliate you people. Um, I just wanted to get on here. My name's Julia Powell. I am here in New Orleans, Louisiana at Black Site CrossFit. And I wanted to get on here and share my why as a part of the Affiliate U program. Just got done listening to a lot of y'all's. Thank y'all so much for sharing those. Very cool to listen to and to see where everyone else's passion lies and why they got into this. For me personally, I grew up kind of like a lot of people playing every sport in the book. Um, Come high school, or I guess eighth grade around, I decided I wanted to play basketball. That was what I wanted to do. They were short some teammates, some team members um, that that eighth grade year on the junior varsity team for the high school. So they pulled some of us eighth graders up to kind of play as bench players to fill some seats. And so that was the first time I was around people who I saw as athletes. And I was around the varsity girls and decided that day that's what I wanted to do, that I wanted to be a really good basketball player and I wanted to be a starter and, walk around campus, big man on campus with a Letterman jacket, the whole deal. But the only problem was that I really sucked at basketball. Like at the time, I was pretty damn horrible. My only redeeming quality was that I worked hard, so I did okay on defense just because I cared. But coordination, athleticism, it really just was not there. But I started practicing with them, and come around the end of my freshman season, once I was still on JV then, and I guess I was on varsity but sat the bench. I asked my coach what we needed, what I could focus on in the off season, what we needed, what role needed to be filled, and he told me that we needed a new three-point shooter because of the seniors that were graduating. We didn't have anybody to do that, and at that point, I probably had never in my life made a three-pointer, and certainly wasn't even really strong enough to get the ball to the rim. But I decided, okay, that's what I was going to do. And that summer, I shot on average 200 to 300 three-pointers a day. I had a little notebook where I journaled the spots on the three-point line and had my percentages from each point out there. And I'd skip lunch at school and go shoot in the cafeteria by myself and just absolutely geeked out over it. People said I was extreme, whatever. I was kind of isolated. I was by myself all the time, but I wanted to do it. And it's something I cared about. And that sophomore season, the next year, I broke our school's record for the most three-pointers ever made in a season. So that's kind of where my journey with seeing what I could do, not only in athletics, but seeing that if I put my mind to something and really set a goal that I could accomplish it. So played basketball through high school, started after that, loved it, became what I wanted to be, the big man on campus, whatever. Did all that, and then was positive that I was going to go play college basketball because I was so great in my little small pond. And then it became very clear very quickly that as a 5'2" three-point shooting guard, that was not going to hold up very well in Division I college basketball. So decided that basketball was going to be the end of the road when I graduated, and had seen the CrossFit Games on TV, probably like 2015. I'm showing how young I am. I'm sure I'm going to get some flack there that I was in high school in like 2015. But I'd seen it on TV, and I always thought that was really cool. And I loved the strength conditioning for basketball. So got into CrossFit immediately following high school and kind of brought those lessons that I learned from basketball and about, setting goals and trying to stick to them regardless of adversities and regardless of what other people thought or said about them, and carried that into CrossFit, immediately started that afterwards. I went to college at Appalachian State for my freshman year, did CrossFit there, dove right into it, probably too hastily got into competing and, wanted to do it at a high level, and enjoyed that a lot. And then I moved home after my freshman year. I came home that summer, and anxiety is something that I've always struggled with. I've been on medication for anxiety since I was 8 years old. And that summer that I came home, some difficult family dynamic stuff went down. My mom, who had never struggled with this at all growing up. We kind of found out, my sister and I, when we came home from college, that she had fallen into some addictions, and she was struggling with that and ended up going to rehab that first time the summer that I was home for my freshman year of college. So that was a big impact in my life. And when I went back up to Boone, to Appalachian State my sophomore year, at the beginning of that year, I was having a very, very hard time with my mental health. My anxiety was just worse than it had ever been, and ended up having to make the decision to withdraw from school and move back home to kind of get things sorted out, get myself back on track, and get myself into a position where I was going to be safe and where I could be healthy again. So ended up, long story short, took some time off school, decided to finish college here in New Orleans, did that, started CrossFit again, probably a year or so after I left Appalachian State. And CrossFit was a really big part of getting myself back on track, getting my mental health back on track. Having to withdraw from school and face kind of relearning to live my life and restructure how everything looked when I'd been put in a place mentally that I had never been before, and certainly never would like to be in again. CrossFit was a way for me to prove again to myself that the kind of old me, the me that felt like I hadn't struggled with those things all that much, was still in there, and that side of me that I knew was strong and was confident, was determined, and was still there. So got back into CrossFit, kept doing that for a little bit through the rest of undergrad, and then started picking up wanting to coach. Got my L1, did some internship type of stuff, training under different coaches, learning to coach, and then got my MBA and ended up immediately following my MBA, meeting up with Jeff, the owner here at Blacksite, and he hired me on right out of school, doing some admin type of stuff and coaching. And I think, this exercise, when it all comes together and you're looking at my why, I want to share the value that CrossFit brought me, which was the ability to believe in myself again and to start to really love my life again. Because there was a time there that I did not. And there was a time there where I did not feel strong. I felt very weak, and I struggled a lot. And that's something that I want to share with others. And I take the responsibility of being vulnerable and being an empathetic individual to the people that walk through these doors very seriously, because I know the impact that coaches that did that had on me, that coaches that I felt comfortable to share my story with and to share where I was at in my life and that met me where I was at. I know the impact they had on me, and I know how they transformed my life. Fitness and all of that aside, of course, all that's very important, but I think if we can all leave these doors at the end of the day knowing that we made someone's life enjoyable again, or at least we're a very small part of that, at least for me, that's kind of what it's all about. So helping people just overall better themselves, whether it be physically, mentally, or a combination of all of it. I think that's my why. I want to give that to people since it was so graciously given to me.